So what is this whale of a phone? As the Japanese OEM eagerly prepares to roll out its new Xperia XZ handsets, images have surfaced of a yet unannounced product, believed to be a follow-up to last year's Xperia Z5 Ultra. Behold this. The pictures, spotted by Xperia blog by way of Beidou, show a gigantic 6-inch Xperia smartphone, complete with a giant front-facing camera and a flash located to its right. A dedicated camera button can be seen on the bottom right side of the frame, and a tiny power button in the middle. The last point suggests this phone would not come with a fingerprint sensor, given the approach Sony used with the Z5. However, anything's possible at this point. The report states that the phone should have a MediaTek system on a chip and dual SIM card support. Additional pictures indicate the phone will also support NFC and have a standard type USB connector. The big question here is whether this phone will actually ever make it to market. You see, at Mobile World Congress, Sony put a great deal of emphasis on the new X series handsets, but there is still a possibility that Sony wants to create a large smartphone for users who are not particularly concerned about superior specs, but still want a very large phone. Let's talk about how Android N shows hints of a native virtual reality mode. Ars Technica uncovered 3 separate hints of upcoming virtual reality support in the latest Android N developer preview update. The first is a menu option of all things, albeit a slightly obscure one. If you go to Settings, then Apps, then Settings again with the gear icon at the top, and select Special Access, where you will find a new entry called VR Helper Services. It appears as though the apps will be able to self-identify as VR helpers and request access to the API that the user must then agree to. Once granted, we assume the VR Helper app will provide headset pop-ups while in VR mode, which is also referenced in the Android N source code, along with references to something called the VR Listener. Ars Technica's Ron Amadio explains, in the settings string, there is a permission warning related to the VR service that states that an app will be able to run when you're using applications in virtual reality mode. Therefore, when Android kicks over into what this VR mode actually is, the Helper app will be able to pop up and do something. Exactly, we don't know what. Of course, this could lead to absolutely nothing in the end because it is just a developer preview, but it does lend some pretty convincing physical evidence to the circumstantial rumors pointing towards a standalone Google VR headset. Wouldn't that be so? Huawei P9 Lite is listed on the site as Venus, what we can only assume is a code name. The same thing happened recently with the Verizon HTC 10 URL, including its perfume code name, and is available in black, white, and gold colors. The Huawei P9 Lite is priced at approximately $300 US. According to the listing, the specs include a 5.2-inch Full HD IPS LCD, octa-core Kirin 650 system on a chip, 2 GB of RAM, 16 GB of internal storage, but you can expand up to 128 GB via the microSD expansion slot, dual SIM card support, 4G LTE, a 13 megapixel, 8 megapixel camera combo, Android 6.0 Marshmallow right out of the box, and USB Type-C, a 3000 mAh battery, and a fingerprint sensor to boot.